What was in Nairobi, apart from the protests, were criminal gangs that burned down parliament, burned down the Chief Justice office, burned down people's property. Those, like happens everywhere in the world, had to be managed by our security agencies.
What is next for President William Ruto after the Gen Z protests? Now, Pastor John C.W. has a dire message for Kenya, and particularly for the president's administration. The pastor has issued a stark warning. If Ruto and the country doesn't change, within 90 days, calamity will strike the nation.
90 days. There are words I don't use, only if I'm sure. If I be a prophet of God, 90 days.
And the warning came during a fiery church service where Pastor John C.W. expressed concerns over Kenyans ignoring God's voice. According to him, the various disasters that have plagued the country, that is floods, accidents, locust invasions, school fires, and even the protests since Ruto's government took power, are all signs of God's disapproval. He added that these events are God's way of speaking to the nation, but sadly, no one has been listening or paying attention.
The Lord roars from Zion. Just like my brother here roared, we can hear. Jehovah is roaring in this nation, but you have refused to hear. So let me show you what is coming. When Jehovah is roaring, I'm showing you the interpretation of the roar. It shows in the pastures. It won't sound. He says the Lord roars from Zion and utters, the pastures of the shepherds mourn. Excuse me, do you realize the roar? No one heard it, but everyone saw it. You are not understanding. So this is how you know the signs that Jehovah is speaking from Jerusalem, which you call the headquarters of heaven. It is not heard in the ear. It is heard. It is seen in creation. If you are wise, you will pick what is happening and interpret it and go to your knees and take sackcloths and remove ties and cry and fast and wait on the Lord. But you know that language is for pastors.
Kuna watu wako kwa government, naongea kama mtume, abapo na devil worshiper. Take him where you want. Wako in the government. Na ukitaka niseme kama mtume, hakujawahi kuwako na death kama zile ziko sasa. Hakuja kuwako na death innocent kama hiyo kipindi sasa tuko. Ukiangalia utaona anza mpaka wakati wa Kenyatta, apart from Mau. Death zimekuja. Na ziko bure. Hakuna kitu ya bure hapo. Na badala ya tutafute Mungu, sasa tunazima kanisa. Ate mimi nitaulizwa miracle hiyo nimefanya, kiwete ametembea.
Pastor John cautioned that as long as Kenya continues to turn a deaf ear to God's voice, the country will continue to experience natural disasters as divine warnings until the people and the government finally pay attention.
I'm going to speak to you in parables today. I have seen something under the sun. 3 months to come, it will be dark. You know, I was in the spirit on the day of the Lord. And the reason I'm saying this is because I saw some people, they were 7 seated on a room. The Lord allowed me to peep into a writing. And this is what the writing said. I will ignore the names. He says, Niliwaambia, I told you, hii ni kama upepo tu, itakwisha na tutaendelea na maisha yetu. I had an aerial view and they were seated 7 and they couldn't see. And I was watching the writing. So there are people that do not, they take these signs as passing clouds. I want to bring a warning.
You might be wondering, who is this Pastor John C.W.? He is a renowned Bible teacher who made headline just before the last general elections. during a church service attended by the then Deputy President William Ruto, who is now the president, while he was facing political persecution from his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta. Pastor John C.W. prophesied that Ruto will become Kenya's next president, despite the opposition.
You know, some of you have strong men. All we had is Jesus. Some things are a dream when the Lord calls you and He shows you things. And when I began building this, there was a lot of opposition.
However, since Ruto assumed office, Pastor John C.W. claims that things have taken a concerning turn since the president has refused to obey God's voice, prompting him to speak out against the president's continued disobedience to God's will.
Mr. President, the Bible is the guide. Remember, we started as a government. People cannot bear that thing you're saying now. You're going to spark a problem. I have many things to say to you. Did Jesus say everything He wanted? You look for the capacity to. Can people bear you saying? Can people bear you saying now that all those? How many people went into parliament? It's okay. Do you know what you're going to do when you arrest one? You will bring a plague on you. We shout these things and you reject to hear. We are the people on ground. You guys are just there. You have no touch. We can tell you what is happening. Kenya cannot bear that statement now. We can't bear the fact that people, instead of telling us we want to account for the people that have died, you are arresting people. Then you're saying that public money, those that you should start arresting members of parliament that are looting. That is now the truth. We will know you are serious. Sasa unafuata mwananchi juu amekula mchele. Ni mchele yao.